Hey, AJ.
What's up, man?
What's going
Nothing much.
on? Nice. Do you have an opinion on being nice to robots or machines?
I try to be nice to everything, anything and everything, all the
Okay.
time.
So, like, if you had an Amazon Echo or a show or an Echo show or that kind of thing, and you said, "Hey, what time is it?" and they told you, would you say thank you?
No, that's just weird.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, that's not necessarily just being nice to it. Being nice to it would be like cleaning the dust off of it, you know, uh,
Taking it out for
taking good
dinner.
care of it. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna take it out to dinner anytime soon. Yeah, no. Yeah,
Okay.
your long shadow says be very nice to robots. It's a good
Yeah,
point because you know what happens if we're not nice to robots in the
dude.
future, right?
So I say thank you all the time to her, and she
Oh, it's a
responds
she.
by yeah, and she responds by saying, "You're welcome, anytime, happy to help," that kind of thing. And but I think I'm only doing it. I think I'm a nice person. I try to be nice. At least that's my outward facade. But I think secretly in the back of my mind, one day Amazon is going to leak all of this inside information about all of us, and there's going to be a counter, like a percentage, like how many times did Brian Paul say thank you to his machines? and, and I just when that information comes
That
out,
is
I want
deep.
I want those stats to be fucking impressive. Yeah,
Oh my
your long shadows
god.
follows it up and says, "Don't be weird around robots because those fuckers are spying." I agree with that as well, dude. We need to start the show, man. Well, we don't need to, but I
Let's
think
do
we
this.
probably should. Let's go. This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on YouTube Live, 6 p.m. Eastern. Rain, shine, news, no news, whatever, man. We're going to do this no matter what. My name is Brian Paul, channel right here, PSVR without parole. And this man over here, AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday. And I know that Mondays usually suck, but we're gonna make your Monday suck just a little bit less.
And how are we going to do that, man? There's nothing to talk about today. We got no.
Oh, of course, we've got some stuff to talk about. We just, under promise and over deliver. Under promise and like sort of deliver is today's theme. Is hopefully,
Yeah, I don't know
but
what to tell you, but hopefully you guys here in the chat have interesting things to talk about. You bring any topics you've got to the table. Of course, we want you to be part of this conversation. I mean, we always want you to be part of this conversation. We always try to bring you guys from the chat into the show, but maybe today more than ever. Make sure we do a little bit of housekeeping before we get this show started. We've got Jeppy Condal with the $5 tip. Says, Happy Pie Day. I'm all about that blueberry 3.14. Thank you so much for the donation, Jeppy Condal. We love you so much. Happy Pie Day. Happy Pie Day indeed. AJ.
yeah, man. So we're definitely gonna be keeping an eye on the chat extra much today. If you guys want to, if you want us to talk about something, but we do have a couple things to talk about. Real quick, toe update, Brax. It's doing fine. It's getting there. Drink. Mention the toe. It's not. It's weak. I was so happy. I did my Saturday night live stream, and it was great because it worked out because there's a whole bunch of updates for games. I got to play more of the Beat Saber OST 5, which I like some of the mapping in that. I think it's pretty decent. Also played more Horde mode. Got to show it off to people and was just chatting away about different things. And then there was the Hitman DLC. I love it. Hitman is like one of the hardest games to stream, but it's really, really fun. And there is in the Wrath DLC, there is a almost like wave based Hitman mode where you have to like protect Agent 47's body, and like the house slowly gets stormed by like people, and you have to like defend it. was a nice surprise, man. Was cool. I really love that game, and think it's pretty amazing. And yeah,
Nice.
I hope more people continue to check it out and see how freaking good it is. Unless they just absolutely can't get over the DualShock thing. But I still think it's worth checking out 100%.
Yeah, I think our best bet for that being checked out by more people will be having it ready for the launch of PSVR2, getting it updated with the orb support, dual. I always want to say dual sense because there's
The
two of
Dual
them.
Sense.
And that just really throws me off because in my reviews, quite frequently, I'll refer to the moves as, you pick up, or you'll use dual moves to do this or that because I'm trying to say two. So this is really going to throw me off. I'm trying not to screw that up. But yeah, no, I mean, the game's already beautiful. I can only imagine what it'll look like with a 4K resolution. Very, very excited to see what they do with this. They've done most of the hard work already. So let's see what they can do moving forward. It's good to hear the DLC is good too because I sort of tuned out after doing the review, and I need an excuse to go back and play more. So
It's
maybe I
really
will.
good. Like it gets requested a lot on Saturday Night Live stream, and I'll be honest with you, when it got requested, I was like, oh, all right, here we go. Like I was like, I was curious, but I never know how these things are gonna go. And I didn't complete it, unfortunately, which sucks, which bothered me because, like I said, it is a really difficult game to stream in such a short amount of time. It takes a lot of trial and error, but yeah, I'm always like pleasantly surprised by something. A lot of the times I do have a good time though because it's like the Christmas update, the Halloween update, or whatever. But loving the post launch support. Brian,
Hi.
Loose Reviews
Mm-hmm.
writes in and says, "Will Gran Turismo 7 get a PSVR 2 update? Will it be a free upgrade to current owners, or will it be sold separately?"
Well, Lou, if that is your real name, sir, I think this is going to set a standard moving forward. I think whatever Sony decides to do with Polyphony and the PSVR 2 update for that is going to tell us a lot about what Sony's plans are for next generation of VR. We got a lot of free updates this time around. We got a few games that we had to pay for completely over again, and very few and far between paid PSVR patches. There was only a couple of those. There was Kona and like Dirt Rally and that kind of stuff. So those are few and far between. And I think it would behoove them if they wanted to be come across as consumer friendly as possible, which is not like Facebook's best asset. So I think if you want to separate yourself from Facebook and say this is how we do things over here on PlayStation, and say if you own the game and you own a PSVR 2, you are good to go. And I really hope that that's what their plan is moving forward and sort of sets the gold standard for other studios who want to like do the hybrid treatment with their games. Is
Yeah, I
that
think Sony would be absolutely crazy not to do PSVR 2 support for this. Plus, we've already had tons of hints at it. There's been countless articles we followed in the past where Kazunori Yamauchi has basically said like the biggest thing that PS5 is going to do for gaming is VR. Basically, that's going to be. Well, I don't think he said the biggest thing. I think he said like the biggest leap in like generations is going to be PSVR 2, and I totally agree. And he's given us tons of hints still, and I think. It's inevitable, man. It would be to me. It would be like Sony making such a huge mistake, because that's such. It just seems like such a given. Of course, I don't want to take everything for granted all the times, because we've been wrong before. But I think there's enough evidence that has shown that there's a good chance of this happening.
Lou says that is my name. um, I do think that like obviously we do need to sort of prepare ourselves too for an alternate universe or maybe the current universe where things don't quite pan out the way we think that they will. Maybe Sony will
Right.
be like, hey, you bought our headset and we're trying to push our headset. But when it comes to third parties, when Capcom says, hey, like you already bought Village, but we want you to somehow we want to be rewarded for all the effort we put into making Village PSVR 2 compatible. So if there was a $5 or $10 paid patch for that, I hope that I hope that not too many people would complain, because we saw what happened in the PSVR 1 generation. We said, well, why aren't we getting patches for all of these games? Why aren't we getting updates for all of these games? Why aren't these PS3 games that we loved so much? Like Wipeout was getting PSVR support, and Borderlands got PSVR support, but so many games didn't. Things like Bioshock, and I think if those companies like 2K were able to, or Irrational, I guess at the time, were able to say, "Hey, there's money in this, and we can resell our entire game, or we can ask them to pay like a $10 charge to get the VR version." I think if developers know there's money in it, they're way more likely to bring us the games that we want. And I'd much rather have the games I want at a small additional fee than never see them at all on the headset. I think that's
Well, like
important.
you said, you also can prevent you from double dipping on the game. Like if like for Borderlands, for example, it was the original game was like what $60 at launch probably, and then you had Borderlands 2, which instead of like a VR upgrade, it was a complete standalone game that was $50. So if you want the flat screen or let's say you already own the flat screen and then have to do a thing, it technically the $10 upgrade would be a better option than having to pay another $50 for the game again. But when I talk about like it being a huge miss for Sony not to do Gran Turismo 7 in VR, I absolutely believe so. And but a good example is Ghostwire Tokyo. Eden Films in the chat say Ghostwire Tokyo would be insane for PSVR 2.
Yeah.
This is one of those games that, like, since the day I saw it, I was like, this needs VR2 support, like, immediately. Like, it looks like such a VR game. And here's the thing. The early impressions have come out for Ghostwire Tokyo already, and this is one of the things that pains me about the headset not being like out right now or out sooner or earlier, because it's getting like kind of a lukewarm reception, and I can't help but feel like, obviously it needs more time. Like full reviews need to come in, but people aren't like super impressed with the game so far. Like they say it's weird and stuff, and I couldn't help but feel like, man, if Ghostwire Tokyo was in VR2, like it'd probably be like amazing, right? Like, I mean, the way the movements are, the gameplay mechanics, the finger detection, if it utilized that. So that's the other thing that bothers me. Not only like do we have to sometimes wait and see for a lot of this stuff, but if that's another game that I really hope they have some kind of contract that Bethesda has to honor and still have VR support, because it just seems like such a perfect fit. And if the game doesn't have the best reception flat screen wise, like VR would be a great opportunity for it to actually be like one of the best VR games, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of funny you bring that up because I feel like I'm just having this conversation with somebody. Sorry, sirens on my end. We were talking about how like even like mediocre flat screen games would make for absolutely epic
Yeah.
VR games. And I think it's just the kind of the situation that we're in and we've been in for a long time, is that like we've been really like leaning heavily on indie studios to bring us all of this stuff. And something like Ghostwire Tokyo, this is the same team that made this is like Shinji Mikame's team, isn't it? They were the
It's like
ones who
Tango
made,
Gameworks, isn't it?
yeah, Tango Gameworks. So Shinji Mikami, and so this is absolutely the perfect game. VR would have been the way to maybe sell this in the first place. We could probably skip the flat screen version, but
Yeah. I
yeah,
still hope we see it. That's the thing, though. We're still waiting on the game. So
yeah,
a lot more to be seen. We have been surprised before. I mean, Doom 3 we got, which we weren't expecting. And that was because it was under contract and they had to honor it. So nothing's going to become like exclusive to either parties until all the contracts are fulfilled, and then they can do whatever they want. But this is still one like I hope and dream comes to PSVR 2, because I love weird games like this. I love games that do something different. And if the mainstream audience, flat screen audience, isn't crazy about it, like I would love to give it a chance.
yeah. Braxbro kind of brings it in the other direction. He says, "True, if Red Matter had been a flat screen game, it wouldn't have been amazing. Like, and Red Matter is so
Yeah,
amazing on the flat screen. Same with
yeah.
Saints and Sinners, man. It's like that. Just, I mean, that would just be just another zombie survival game on a flat screen. Uh,
I
so
actually think it'd be pretty cool. But I agree with the sentiment.
yeah, I think what when we look at a studio like Skydance and the games that they've made, I was like, they are killing it in VR, but those games just don't. Whatever makes them special is because of VR. They know how to manipulate VR well and make you feel like you're there and make those VR interactions VRAF. And yeah, and I just think when you put all of those away and suddenly you're using a controller and you're sitting 6 feet away from a screen, you lose something. And I think in this case you lose 90% of what made the game really, really special, sadly. Joseph Paul brings it in another direction with the $5 tip. Thank you, Joseph Paul Jr. Sorry, don't want to misname you. He said, why do you guys think that Microsoft and Nintendo haven't jumped on the VR train? Nintendo has, kinda, but I need Pokemon VR. They seem like a good fit for VR. Yeah, dude, where the hell's Mario Kart? Like, I said in the sale video today, I was like we still only really have touring carts as far as good kart racers go in VR. Like, it's insane that that's like the only really good one we have, and it's like not even great. It's just good. Yeah, where the fuck's Mario Kart VR, man? We need that shit. What do you think,
Yeah,
AJ?
well,
What
they
are
have
they
it. They
doing?
have like a physical arcade version, VR arcade version of that. Um, and but yeah, they certainly have a lot of great IPs. Nintendo especially, that seems like it'd be a great fit for VR. They tried the Labo or whatever,
Mm,
and it didn't really work.
what a horrible way to go
Um,
about it, man.
but at least they tried something. You know, they tried to capitalize on the buzz around VR as it was emerging, and they had something. Microsoft has yet to do anything, and you know, the truth is they're not going to jump in uh, until it's like super popular and people see it. People in the big suits and ties up top say, "Oh, VR is super profitable now," and you know, it's just not yet. Not in the size of like a, not in a like the way the flat screen hardware is, anyways. But it's funny that you mentioned though Pokemon VR, because one of my favorite Pokemon games. One of my, I guess, like I don't really have a lot of favorite Pokemon games. I haven't played a lot of Pokemon to be honest, but I loved for some reason. I absolutely loved Pokemon Snap. And Brian, I sent you an article earlier. Um, there's a game that we have talked about. What is it? You look confused.
You sent me an article.
I sent you an article in Discord, a Reddit post, and it is from a game called Jurassic Snap. And they
Yep.
said, working on this really fun project, would you guys like to play this with PSVR?
I,
So I think it'd be,
have you not? Is this the first time you've heard of that game?
yeah, no. We've talked about it before, but they actually have some new footage of it, a new clip on it.
I can bring some Jurassic
Uh,
Snap stuff up.
So yeah, maybe you can bring the old stuff up, and it'd be cool to also run a poll here
Ooh.
and
Ooh, you're making me
see.
work. I thought I was gonna kick back and have fun. You're making me do shit.
I
This is
got this,
ridiculous.
cats. We're gonna put Brian to work today.
This is ridiculous. God, somebody else needs to make sale videos while I run this show. God damn it. All right, what poll are we putting up here, AJ? Put me to work.
Would you guys like to play this with PSVR? Would you want Pokemon Jurassic Snap in VR on PSVR? Is what they said. They do have a Kickstarter as well. Let me see how the Kickstarter's doing. See if there's any chance of this actually happening. Let me go here. I'm definitely a big yes on this because, like I said, I love Pokemon Snap. I don't know if you guys do or not.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap was fun. I mean, it was okay. You know, like the N64 like struggled big time for an actual good Pokemon game, and so I think people were disappointed back then because they were like, we want an actual Pokemon game. Give us a fucking Pokemon game, man. And then they were like, oh, here's Jurassic Snap. Here's Pokemon Snap. And everyone's like, okay. But then when you play it, you're like, oh, this is kind of like a rail shooter, but with photography. And it ended up being like really replayable as you upgraded your stuff. And yeah, man, absolutely. I totally agree. I talked to these guys forever ago, like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that, when they
Yeah.
must when they first announced it, and they were like, you know, Oculus Quest PC VR early 2022, PlayStation VR 2023. And I was like,
Right. It was way
what?
early.
I was like, you're not even you I was like, you've just fucking abandoned all the hope, ye who enter for PSVR 1 content, because holy shit, man, like 2023, you better be making it for PSVR 2, and like just don't even look back. Don't look
Right.
back.
Yeah. I mean, it's still something to look forward to, though. And I think it'd be better on PSVR 2 anyways.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
What is
Anything
this an
anything
actual?
photography based, right? I mean, I am such a huge fan of Fatal Frame games. I'm currently playing through the newest one on Switch, or it was actually the Wii U one, Maiden of the Black Water, uh, and so I'm finally getting to play that. And dude, I mean, just makes me really wish it was in VR. Just being able to bring like a camera up to your face in VR and like manually like click the button and just, uh, but also still have total control of your character, like with the analog sticks and everything. I think if somehow we get a game similar to Fatal Frame or I guess Jurassic Snap, which is like a music video playing with dinosaurs in costumes or people in dinosaur costumes. At the end, that's what's playing right here. This is like a takeoff of the Friends introduction. It's absolutely ridiculous. I was like, this is where you guys spent all your money. Good fucking luck. Um,
Time to play with Game Cat says AJ. Most of us would play anything if it was in VR. True,
yeah,
but
but yeah, I mean,
so you're saying there's a chance.
but getting back to Joseph Paul Jr.'s question, uh, I mean, first of all, the Switch is just too damn underpowered to do anything with VR, right? You saw Nintendo do a very interesting thing this generation. They said, "Hey, we're not doing terribly well with our consoles, right? We had one success in the last couple generations with the Wii, but the Wii U wasn't a good idea. The N64 was on the rough side. GameCube was, definitely either distant second, third place." And so they did this very interesting thing where they combined their wildly successful handheld market with their home console market and magically made it just very very successful. They absolutely killed it. It was a great idea. And so I don't see them wanting to like step outside of that again, right? They sort of consolidated so that they could make one game, like Smash will have like a Switch version instead of having to have one for the 3DS and the Wii U. So and I feel like they're consolidating. They're trying to pull back and make sure they make the smart moves. And I don't think VR is a smart move currently. Like right now, you look at VR and you're like, I don't know. Some of these are successful, some of these aren't. Hasn't been proven. Not everybody's making VR games. Let's take a step back and wait and see. And I could totally see the Switch 2 being something that we're like, you just throw into some kind of visor and it's VR compatible.
That's it. Yeah.
So I think, but I do think we'll see Microsoft and Nintendo do it like within the next generation or so, like 5, 6, 7 years from now.
Well, they don't want to get too far behind if it once it eventually really starts going, um, then they don't want to be like I don't know. They don't want to completely. I don't. I think it's not smart for either one of them to like alienate it because if and when it does become a lot bigger, they don't want to have people turning on their own fan base and yeah, they don't. I don't know. It just seems like it would be bad vibes to do so.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't think. I don't think either one are alienating. Although I know that Microsoft did say publicly that like gamers don't want VR,
Right.
which was an interesting thing to say for sure. I don't know if, you know,
Yeah.
if they've got a different audience than PlayStation does. But even looking at the PlayStation VR1 numbers, it was pretty obvious that like most PlayStation VR1 gamers didn't want VR. No, PlayStation 4 owners didn't want VR. That's how words work. Which kind of brings us to our next tip from Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat. $5 tip says, it still blows my mind how VR isn't exponentially more popular than it is by now. What do you think the main reason it's still so niche?
Uh, the hardware evolving, and there's two things: the hardware needing to like evolve more, along with the price needing to come down. If you look outside of Oculus and PSVR, the rest of the headsets are like usually what $500, $800 something, and cost a giant PC, a beefy PC to run stuff. Um, it just hasn't always been a very viable business platform when it comes to making money. So it's only started to do that just recently. So within like the last 5 years or so. So um, as the hardware continues to evolve, as more games, big games, come out and blow people away, it will get there. But it just needs time. Even Sean Layden, former chairman of Sony Worldwide Studios, said that one of the hurdles VR has right now is that people want VR 5.0, but they're gonna have to be patient and let it go through phase 1, phase 2. We're about to enter phase 2. By the time it hits phase 5, it's going to be in probably every household.
Yeah, I think you're right about the price. I think that is probably the major hurdle that most developers or most manufacturers at this point have to overcome. I don't think, I think the people who are early adopters, people who are like, our audience, people who are very, very excited about PSVR2 are like, yeah, we understand that this shit's expensive. And yeah, if PSVR2 comes out at $400, like I'm ready because I've been waiting for this shit for so long. Let's just do it, deal with the repercussions later. But I think most of the world sees it differently. I think $200 is always the magical price point, and that seems ridiculously cheap right now for any kind of VR headset. But knowing that certain headsets, like mobile headsets, like the Quest 2, that have all this processing power and hard drives and everything else running inside of it, can be sold for like around the $300 price point. Getting rid of all that stuff and making it run off of the PlayStation 5, you would think that, at some point in the future, the technology is going to become cheap enough where we can get to that price point, possibly even as early as next gen, depending on what kind of amazing like advancements there are in the VR field. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the PlayStation 5 PSVR 2 generation, we start seeing, like, because as you guys saw, there were very few changes made to the PSVR 1 headset, right? Like there was a V1 and a V2. We were all pretty much playing with the same headset. Here we are. We're going to be getting the PSVR 2 7 years after that thing launched, right? And so basically, like, I think if Sony can sell enough PSVR 2 headsets, I bet in 4 or 5 years, that thing could probably be $200, and that right there will push VR into the mainstream, just like just like when PlayStation 2 came out and PlayStation 1 started. They made the super small one and they started selling it for like $100, and then every kid brother on the face of the planet had a PlayStation 1 while their older brother had a PS2. I think that's just kind of how I see things going this gen.
Yeah, more that they can lower the price, absolutely. When it's cheap enough, people be like, I don't even know what this is. Screw it. It's what, 100, $200. I'll
Right.
take the risk.
Right. Yeah. You pass it, and again, like, yeah, passing them down as you move on to your next piece of technology. You move the old one down to your kid brother or whatever, and then suddenly the younger generation gets into VR and blah blah blah. The whole thing. It's like it's definitely a cycle. Um, but it's also niche because I think a lot of the younger generation now have moved away from consoles, into either PCs or just cell phones or tablets or whatever. Man, I just don't think consoles are attracting the younger audience like they used to. And I think, and you'd be amiss if you just ignore that audience completely. So I think that's part of the problem. I don't think VR is cool for the younger generation like it is for us.
Not yet.
Not yet. Our next tip comes from Nihilist Ryan, the Game Feline, with a $5 tip. Says, I think a good way to keep busy while no games are coming out on PSVR would be to make walkthrough videos for the puzzly games. So I may give. So many I give up on. I'm so sorry. I can't read today. Dude, I definitely want to do a Wanderer one. I've been meaning to just wait for a little downtime. And now those sale videos are out, I can finally get back to that Wanderer one I was working on.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't have to
I
be
have
new
thought
ones
about
either,
going
right?
back. I have thought about going back and doing like some tips videos for like some older games. Could be pretty fun if I get the extra time though. But
It would be a
I've
good
been using
experiment.
this. Yeah, yeah. Will
See,
be
people
interesting.
you start putting out like new tips videos for older games, and you just be like, oh, are people still interested in this? Do people have this in their back catalog? Like they've been meaning to play it, but they need help, or they're like, hey, I've never heard of this game. It would sort of be like a new review for an old game. I don't know. Oh, the VR Grid says, get this trailer off. Oh, sorry, Ryan. I'm not up to the standards of the VR Grid. Yeah, man, I'll get this trailer off. It's bothering me too. I'm sorry.
We should put a amazing best PSVR channel ever. A little quote from the VR Grid. We should put that on the front cover.
There you go. There you go. That's definitely
Except
how
he
you
never
want it.
has it on good games, so don't do that. Maybe it's a curse.
Really? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Wait. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the next question comes from Arian. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Orion. Orion sounds cool. With the 14 cubic zirconias, says, do you know of or expect any PSVR 2 talks at GDC? What do you know, AJ? Spill the beans.
So no,
No.
I've asked about. Is there anything else? Any other events? And sadly, I've heard nothing. So I'm not expecting anything. However, that I don't think includes GDC. So while I'm not expecting any PSVR2 events this month, still could happen. Just haven't heard anything yet. I'm still waiting on more Horizon Call of the Mountain, um, which I think they're going to start with. But and then eventually there's going to be a huge showcase. There's got to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've said it before that we hope that there's something PSVR2 related. Seems like a great time to show off more PSVR2 at GDC. But as far as like showcases and Sony showing off a bunch of games, unless they're like first party stuff, well, maybe even then, I just haven't really heard anything.
Yeah, I mean, GDC, as far as VR is concerned, is famously where Shuhei Yoshida first showed off the PSVR 1 when I believe it was still called Project Morpheus. I don't remember if they had changed the name at that point or not. Um, but that was a pretty cool event. He stood on stage for like 45, 50 minutes and revealed the thing in person and talked about different things. They showed off a tech demo that they shoved God of War into VR. And they had that running, which was, I mean, again, talk about some disappointments on PSVR 1 when the first thing you see ever running on PSVR 1 is a God of War game that never actually happened. Like, it was just a way to sort of test out the hardware and shit. But, like, I was like, come on, man. It's like, you got shit working. Let's do this. But yeah, so like GDC's kind of at this point for me famous for that because that's where we very first saw PSVR 1. Now, we've already seen PSVR 2, like in some different smaller ways. But I do think I would like to hope that they would repeat themselves this time around. AJ, was the Mark Cerny tech talk about PS5, was that at GDC?
That was not at GDC, but that was something that they had planned to do at GDC.
And then they canceled GDC, right?
And then they canceled GDC. Right. So he did the presentation in front of a something created in like Windows 98 with some like silhouette figures pretending to be alive, and instead just like, I don't know. They should have gotten that racing crowd from like the N64 days. Like whenever you look at the sides and the stands, and it's like that flat crowd that just like has two animations. They should have had that. Just like, yeah. But yeah, no, it was GDC. It was for GDC. So
I wouldn't mind something like that. I mean, I think a lot of people made fun of that presentation because Mark Cerny is, I think, too smart for his own good, definitely too smart for my good, and doesn't quite know how to bring things down, I think, to the consumer level. I mean, there's a lot of smart consumers out there, so I'm sure a lot of people were like, I totally understand every fucking word this guy is saying right now. But I sat there going like, I'm going to have to like take notes and watch this 17 more times to figure all this out. And I didn't care that much about PlayStation 5 and knowing all the intricate details. I'm like, I just need to know that it'll power my PSVR 2 when that thing gets here. But when they talk about PSVR 2 at that level of detail, man, sign me up. I will be there and I'll be taking notes and I'll be screen recording it so I can watch it 7 more times and understand it all. Mark Cerny, bring on the tech talk, man. I'm ready. Totally. So the answer is we don't know anything. But
there is supposed to be somebody at GDC too. I don't remember if it was WannaDev or some VR developer said they were going to be there. I'm looking for it right now to see who it was. I had it earlier.
Yeah, WannaDev sounds right. I think so. Yeah, because I think I just started following them for. Was that Shadowpoint? Is that who made that?
No, that is Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. All right, that's why I followed them recently. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is WannaDev because I saw that tweet. While you're looking that up, we got DJ Dirty Yella. Probably means something. $5 tip says, is Dash Dash World still coming to PSVR 1? The short answer is yes.
I gave up hope a long time ago.
I know, which is perfect. Now that you said it out loud, it'll be here tomorrow. So I don't think I've ever talked to another developer about an unreleased game as frequently as I talk to Motion X Studios. Like, literally anytime I try to plan an event, anytime we do we did April's PSVR AF last year. We did the award shows. We've done all sorts of different things. And even when I'm putting together a PSVR this week sometimes, and it's like a slow news week, I contact them and like, hey, you got any updates on Dash Dash? And they're pretty damn good about responding and saying, like the last time we heard from them, they were talking about getting cross-platform multiplayer up and running. That's working. They basically said that when it gets to PSVR, it's going to have like more tracks than we've ever seen before in Dash Dash. Just they've got big plans for it. But man, it is taking absolutely forever. And like, if you've given up on this game, you might have given up on Stride and given up on a bunch of other games that we've been talking about for like a year and a half, saying, where is this game? But when you talk to the studios, they're like, man, we're just fucking got our heads down and we're working hard. Stride was supposed to be out. I think they said Q1 of this year, which was already a date that had been pushed, I believe, from last year. And when you talk to them, they're like, we're trying, man. We're trying to get through Sony certification, and it is a lengthy process every time you fuck something up.
It does sound like Stride is coming pretty soon, though. So that's something to be excited about.
Yep, they are almost done. So we're getting there.
I wonder, there's a couple things that I usually see that like really seem to delay games, and one is cross-platform multiplayer. A lot of games I see get really delayed because of that. But also, their Dash on Quest 2, anyways, maybe not PC, but on the standalone Quest 2, it did have some performance issues when I played it. I don't know. Now, I haven't seen if that's been updated.
Sorry,
that could have been updated by now. What's that?
Which game was that?
Dash World.
Yeah.
It had some
definitely hitches. Yeah.
It had some really bad hitches and frame rate jutters. So maybe that has something to do with it. But because Sony just won't allow that shit. I mean, what was it? Dave telling us that even during a blank loading screen, a black loading screen, that there was a hitch, a frame rate drop, and it got sent back.
Oh, that was the Pixel Rip team. Anna Ribeiro told us that.
Okay.
There was like it dropped frames during a loading screen, and like it got rejected for certification. It was like, what? That's absolutely ridiculous. Like no one cares about.
Yeah, I wonder if it's actually tested by like humans, or if it's like a machine they run it through that like monitors it, or
it's all zombies.
Probably both, I guess. Probably both.
Monitored by zombies. They just like shove headsets on. Yeah, I'm just looking real quick here. I want to make sure we don't
Dirty
move on.
Yella. Oh no, you just got him.
Yeah, he didn't. Orion or Arian has not told us how to pronounce his name. Maybe he has and I missed it. But he's got 70 more cubic zirconias coming our way, which I love. They're so pretty. Thank you. So PSVR hardware was sold at a profit for Sony at launch. That's correct. It says if PSVR 2 had official PC compatibility, what's in it for Sony if PSVR 2 hardware was sold at a loss, since they can't make up for it with game sales? Yeah, I don't know. I think you kind of answered your own question, right? So many people are saying people are saying that PSVR 2 needs to have PC compatibility, or it's dead in the water. Like so many people are like just like signing a death sentence for it already, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like PlayStation VR 1 did fine, like maintaining its own ecosystem, and yeah, Sony might have sold it at profit, but like how much was that profit? Like was it? It must have been pretty minimal, and so their real money from PSVR 1 came from software sales. There was a huge attach rate, especially at launch, for PSVR 1 and PSVR 1 games. So Sony made money off of every single game, whether they made it or not. I think they make like 30% off of every single sale in the PlayStation Store. Never mind the first party stuff. So yes, that's why I don't understand the PC argument, because even if they did sell the PSVR 2 at without taking a loss, they'd make it this minimal amount on each headset, and then never see another dollar from it unless they start making PC VR games, which I don't think is really in the works for Sony at this point.
Yeah, they do have like this PC Studios thing booting up, but PlayStation PC Studios, something like that. But I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I think that they're gonna try to use this as a way to continue to sell PS5s. Another reason to buy a PS5, and the truth is, while a lot of the PC market is like, this has to be for PC compatible or else it's going to fail, it's just not the truth, man. Like, there's going to be somewhere between 50 to 100 million people with PS5s out there that they could potentially tap into that these IPs and whatnot mean a lot to these players, and even if they made it PC compatible, I mean that is like, I mean you're talking what 1-2 million people on VR on PC. Obviously, that number's gone up, um, but that just doesn't hold a candle to the install base that PlayStation has. They have the one of, if not the largest, install bases for gaming. Not to say that PC doesn't have a viable audience, but that's the reason. Why do you think there's not like crazy AAA PC VR games right now? They have a big PC like flat screen audience, but when we're talking numbers and business,
Yeah.
there's a reason there's not like AAA developers making game after game on PC because there's just not enough. They have to sell multiple million copies, and their best chance is on PS5 and PSVR2.
Yeah, Xenomorph says someone will hack it. I'm like, yeah, exactly, man. That'll, like, if that's really the one way you want to deal with playing PC VR games is by buying a headset that's not designed for it and then hack it. I mean, by all means, go for it, man.
Yeah, I don't know
Fucking,
how well that's gonna work, but
I
you
mean,
know, you might not have access to the haptics and all sorts of. Maybe you will, but
yeah.
um,
I mean, I just think Sony doesn't care. They're like, no, we're focusing on this. They sold 120-ish PS4s, right? And so if the PS5 comes close to that number, like that is a huge ecosystem of people buying uh, PlayStation 5 games, PSVR2 games, and that is more than they need by far. And I think this time around they're going to sell such a higher percentage. I would be shocked if we didn't exceed PSVR1's lifetime sales in like the first year of PSVR2. If they even manufacture enough to sell, you know, we definitely know that it's been taking a little while longer to get PSVR2 out because they're concerned about making enough PlayStation 5s. There's got to be some part of making sure they have enough PSVR2s ready for launch. And so
yeah,
you start quantifying that. It's like, well, hopefully they can actually manufacture 6 million in the first year to exceed PSVR1 sales. I think that's what they're going to be held back by in their first year of PSVR2, not demand, fucking supply.
right. Which, and there was a couple of the like manufacturer analysts that were monitoring this stuff. There was like some stuff about the Chinese company that was going to be helping develop some of the headsets, and they had an expectation of selling like 1 to 2 million if they were to produce them uh, and have them out by quarter 4. That seemed to be like the original expectation was that they were going to get them out by quarter 4, that they were going to sell about 1 to 2 million. And some people asked me, I think it was a viewer takeover question at one point that was like, would that be enough? And with them pushing it back and especially potentially wanting to manufacture even more now, um, that gives them a chance. If people are just the one way you could help alleviate, a strong, or I mean, a weak launch is to have more headsets to sell at launch. If people are worried about scalpers, people are worried about different things, and if there's more headsets out there, then developers could potentially have a better launch. But Sony does have to market it. They do have to get people excited about it. They do have to sell a shit ton of inventory, talking millions within months, like you said, for that to work. But you can guarantee that the adoption rate will be huge at launch. That seems to be one of the biggest times for sales is like when a new headset launches and then it slowly dies down over time again unless some big games come out. Um, but yeah.
You brought up marketing, and I know that Jay Meow's out there somewhere, man. He's probably listening very unhappily that we
We're
haven't
talking
talked
about
about his
PSVR
topic.
2, Jay.
Jay Meow's very concerned about the marketing for PSVR 2. Even with the knowledge that it's not coming till Q1 2023, says he's pissed off that all the marketing so far has been on PlayStation blogs. Super excited about the CES reveal, but that wasn't enough. Like we need more of those. Do you, AJ? You've been a little bit vocal about how Sony's been doing things, and so I kind of want to give you the stage right now to kind of like give me all your thoughts about where you are right now with Sony's marketing, what they've done so far, when they need to start like the heavy marketing, and if you actually think that they're going to do a good job with that marketing when the time comes.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot to cover, man.
Yeah,
I don't think
you
we
got
got that
5
kind of
minutes.
time.
You have 5 minutes, and we're doing 20 questions.
First off, what marketing? There is no marketing going on right now.
Right.
I don't know why. I certainly would have rather have seen a hype as fuck showcase for the headset reveal. For the best thing they did was the CES presentation. That is literally the best thing they have done, and that's not even really the best place for it. They've done all of these indie showcase state of plays. They really could have saved this stuff or did it as they should just do a state of play that says this is the instead of having a million state of plays that say there's no focus on PSVR2, just have a state of play that says this is just for PSVR2 and
And,
show
but-
off some kick ass shit.
and let me interrupt you. Why do you think that that's not going to be a thing?
Well, it will.
Okay.
But we're having to wait. But I'm saying they've already missed a bunch of opportunities for that. Is the problem?
You think
And
so?
yeah, yes, because they announced it in a PlayStation blog. They showed us the controllers in a PlayStation blog. They showed us the headset in a PlayStation blog. That is the worst place. This is why Jay is mad, because that is like the most unhyped thing you can do for selling a headset. And yeah, man, I mean, people are excited about the headset. There's people that still need PS5s, yes. But if you're gonna do it, do it. Like, like the PlayStation blog is such a weak place to show games. You post a PlayStation blog alongside a showcase or something. Like, you don't want to piss off people that don't have PS5s yet, or people that don't like VR or whatever. Do a standalone showcase to announce all this shit
Yeah.
like you did for the PS5. Have it focused. Let the core audience grow organically by itself. Because what you're doing right now is basically starting from square one again. And so, yeah, I would say it's bad marketing, but there is no marketing, zero. And as far as what they've done in the past, yeah, I don't think their marketing has been very good either. I've made this a statement before, like, showing stuff like Trover Saves the Universe on E3 stage, and while Astrobot was shown to a blog, and just little tiny detailed mistakes left and right, and leaving E3, having that huge presence at E3. I mean, let's face it. For me, I don't know about it for you guys. Probably for you guys, Sony was E3 for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I only cared about the Sony conference thing. I maybe tuned into some of the other ones, but that's because Sony was going to be there. And you take that away, you have all these expectations of some hype event, and then you go full into VR with the very first state of play, and it was just a backbreaker. I mean, it created a lot of animosity towards VR. So whether they're doing a big push or not, or hiding it behind the scenes and stuff, they've just never had the right rhythm for showing off PSVR. And I hope this changes, but I haven't really seen much to say that it's going to change right now. I think VR will do great because it kicks ass and it might have some amazing. It's going to have some amazing games. But unless they're coming out and doing their like really awesome showcases, that's just not. If they stick to blogs, then no, their marketing is going to fail.
Yeah, I do miss the Sony E3 presentations. Those were always, I mean, I would take the day off from work. I'd make sure that I had I was still drinking back in those days, so I had plenty of vodka and pizza and everything ready to go. Man, I was celebrating all fucking day, watching every single thing that IGN had to show. And of course, the behemoths when it came to like Microsoft and Sony doing their press conferences, like those were the fucking, the times is like, here you go, Year of Dreams, that kind of shit. It was always really impressive. Even like the slower years were still really good. And they sort of saved all that shit up for like, boom, they just like blew their load in one big moment on stage. But now now Sony sort of delivers, hey, here's a bunch of small news, or smaller events with state of plays. And they're doing that. They're doing those relatively frequently. They looks like they're gearing up for the year now. We've already gotten 2 in the past little while, and they were fine. I think for people who say they suck, it was like, okay, there were no games that interested you in those, but like they showed quite a variety from studios like Capcom and Square Enix, and a ton of other studios that people like really enjoy. And so seeing something like Star Ocean in a state of play was cool. In this last one showed Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo, and I was like, so each one has had like I think some really good shit to show, and so I think that they're doing a good job sort of now setting expectations about what state of plays are all about. They're not E3 insanity levels of huge game announcements. It's like, hey, we're going to check in with our partners, show you some Japanese games, show you some indie games, and show you some other stuff that you've been maybe curious about, and so. And I sort of like that. It's taking them a while, but they're finally setting expectations and getting people like to understand what state of plays are all about. And it would be really, really nice if they started either integrating VR games, PSVR 1 or 2, into state of plays, or giving us our own state of play, just for people who aren't interested in that. I get it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't expect that to be happening though for another couple months at earliest, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just wasted opportunities, man. Tons of wasted opportunities that I've seen, and I wish they were a little bit more ahead on where they're actually at. But it is what it is. I try to give them a break because of the pandemic and other issues, the supply chain issues. I try to give them a break, cut them a break. But I also have said before that I don't think that their communication. I mean, Time to Play with Gig Cats says right here, a year ago I thought I would have a PSVR2 by now, and that I mean I think
you can blame us on that. I mean, I don't think you blame Sony on that. I think you blame us.
I don't. I mean, blame us really? Like I expected it too, though. Like as a consumer,
Yeah.
I would have expected that too as just a consumer. So you're talking about your most hardcore dedicated player base, like is just kind of left in the dark, man.
Well,
That's
they
not
didn't
cool.
know. Like they didn't know. That's why they were so vague for that first post when they said, "Here it is. We are telling you that PlayStation VR2 is a thing. It's not coming this year." They didn't say it's coming next year. They said it's not coming this year. They were very specific about
Right.
that for good reason, as it turns out, because they just weren't sure about supply chain issues and manufacturing and blah 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 and whatever else. And so I think they smartly didn't say anything when they didn't have anything to say. People get so fucking mad all the time about people missing release dates and release windows. You know what they didn't do is give us a release date or release window until they were sure. Guess what? They still haven't done it. We were the ones telling you that they said Q1 2023. They still haven't told anybody because they want to be sure. They don't want to do that to you. They don't want to have bad messaging. They want to be sure about this shit before they say it. And so I think that they've actually done a great job when it comes to the general state of plays, their marketing, keeping us updated on blog posts whenever possible. Yes, it's blog posts and not giant events, but it's not time for giant event yet. Giant events are coming soon. Your Long Shadows is a Game Cat Meow. In the chat says, we need a mega event where they bamboozle every naysayer with tons of game announcements. And
Yep.
and I
We'll
can't
get
wait
that
for
eventually.
that. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
wait for that. When
but
they do it,
see,
all
they
these
better
conversations are going to end.
they better execute that though. If they don't, uh, if they don't execute that, then it's not going to be good.
Yeah, and I can't see a future where that doesn't happen. Like absolutely not. I think
I can see many futures where that doesn't happen, but I
Oh, I know.
believe that they can, I think they have everything they need to do it. So it's either so if they fudge it up, it's just on them, man. It's not anyone. It's
Yep, it certainly is. A stupid donkey with a $2 tip to round out the viewer questions for the evening. It says, "What are the chances of an aim controller 2.0?" Currently, I think low, but I do think that maybe like around launch something there'll be some kind of peripheral that'll attach the sense controllers together, So you'll still have your hands on the
That'd
Sense
be cool.
controllers, but so you'll get all the haptics, you'll get the feedback, you'll get everything, right? You get the adaptive triggers, but you're locked in place like you need to be for a name controller, and so that'll give us everything we need without actually having to spend like another $100 on a new peripheral, right? So hopefully they have something like that ready for launch. AJ, oh damn, we almost got away with it. We have one more. We have one more tip before we move on. It's from, and I don't think he still decided to pronounce his name yet. Arian, I'm gonna go with that. 70 cubic zirconias says PSVR2 is similar marketing to PS5. DualSense shown off in the blog. PS5 logo was shown at CES 2020, etc. The only difference is the headset reveal could be because that was likely to leak from dev kits.
Right.
Sure.
Dev kits or something else. Maybe they just wanted to update their website page. They're like, come on, man. I've been sitting with this JPEG for this PNG file for a year now. I need to update the website. And,
well, if you think, I mean, if you think that Sony's back there being like, well, don't fucking tell anybody anything, then you're out of your mind, right? There's people there going, guys, you have to like tell your consumers what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, we don't have, we're not ready to make a video, we're not ready to do a stage presentation, whatever. Like, well, what can we do? Well, we can make a PlayStation blog so we can like keep the communication flowing. Which I think right now it's either that or nothing. So I'm very, very happy to take that over the alternative. Wow. Okay. I swear it's time for 20 questions. And this time I'm the host, which is perfect because I get a recommendation from one of the cats. I just want to bring it up so I have it ready to go. If you are one of the cats that were part of this conversation, please do me a favor and refrain from helping AJ because that would be very unfair, I think.
Oh, don't listen to him.
Unless you want to steer him in the wrong direction, which I would be a huge fan of. Let me just bring the game up on the PlayStation Store so I can have it ready to answer any of your questions. And did you say what game?
Yes.
And there it is. Okay, guys, you know how this works by now. I've got a PlayStation VR game in my head, courtesy of one of you. I will not tell you which one it was. And you guys out there, and AJ, have 20 yes or no questions to figure out what game that is.
Probably.
Let me put up 6 minutes on the timer. Put 6 minutes on the clock. Clock up on the counter. Jeremy likes it. Go.
Does it have move support?
No.
Does it have aim support?
No.
So we know DualShock 4. Is it a shooter?
No.
No shooter. Is it a puzzle game?
There's puzzles in it.
Not a shooter. Puzzles in it. DualShock only. Has this developer made other PSVR games? Thank you, Bruce Gill.
No. I'm just gonna double check. No. Nope. No. That's 5.
Did this game come out within the first 2 years of PSVR's life cycle?
No.
Not within the first 2 years. Has it ever been on the top 25 list?
No.
So it's probably doesn't sound like it's a very good game. I think Headmaster's been on the. Did it come out within the last 2 years? Thank you, Dark Angel 3.
Now I gotta do
Last 2 years.
No.
So somewhere in the middle of the life cycle.
The middle 2 years.
The middle 2 years. Not the first 2 years, not the last 2 years.
You're really narrowing.
I'm gonna go with Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry. Is it a shit game?
So, I would say divisive, but if you want my opinion, I really
Would I
didn't
say
like
it's
it.
shit?
I
Would
think
I say
so.
it's shit?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
This
but-
isn't an actual question. Will you give me a freebie? Did Jay tell you this game? Was it Jay's suggestion?
No, that's 10.
No, I said that. I didn't.
Okay.
I said
no,
don't make
that's
that
9.
count.
Yeah.
You didn't have to answer that.
Yeah, that's 9.
Okay, so it's not. Doesn't sound like it's a very good game. Um, let's see here. There's puzzles in it. Oh, I
Yeah,
think
it's
paper.
super divisive. I remember some people really loving it and some people really hating it, and I think all of us over here hated it.
Does it have full locomotion?
Yes, it does, and now that's 10.
Okay, full locomotion. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Is it an escape room game?
No,
Not escape room. Doesn't Paper Beast have move support?
is that are you asking me?
No.
'Cause
Messing
Paper
in
Beast
chat.
has move support. Yes.
Okay. um, let's see here. Is it? Let's see. Puzzles. Are deaths involved? Like, can you die?
Yeah, you can die many ways.
And I guess the way he puts it, let me put it: is are deaths involved in failing puzzles?
I don't know what that means. You can die in a lot of
Okay.
ways in the game.
Okay, you could die though. Um, let's see. Maybe Darknet.
I love these questions, man. Some of these questions are really fucking good. I don't think any of them are going to help you though. You're coming up on
Yeah,
2
they are
minutes
pretty
left, by
good.
the way. And
2
still
minutes
8
left,
questions, or actually,
and
yeah,
I still have 8 questions.
seven and a guess.
Okay. Um, let's see here. He's done Last Labyrinth before. But he does say that he can sometimes choose the same one. Is it a horror game?
I would say there tries to be scary elements, but I wouldn't classify it overall as a horror game. No, it tries to be scary sometimes.
Um, well, there's full locomotion too, so okay, it can't be that. What's the time at?
1 minute and 20 seconds.
Okay, full locomotion, guys. Moves DualShock 4 only. There's puzzles in it. Somewhere within the middle of the life cycle. We need a lot more. Oh, do you control a little character on the screen? Like, do you control a character down there?
You control. It's
Like a down the rabbit hole or a moss or a.
so is it third person? Is that what you're asking? Is there a third person
Yeah,
element
it's a
to
third
it?
person. Yeah.
No, no. I think you occasionally see your character in third person, but I don't think you ever control your character in third person.
Okay. Horror.
I
Let's
think about
see.
30 seconds left, man.
30 seconds. Um. Okay. It's not a lot. It can't be thing here. Um. Is it one of those shitty horror games that I hate?
No.
Like right. uh. Is it sci-fi?
Yes. 16.
Um.
3 more questions and a guess.
I need a sci-fi game. Cats. Henry's.
Whoa, you blew up.
Okay. So one quick guess.
Give me a quick guess.
Give me. I'm gonna go with the first sci-fi game I see here, from the cats.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Who's good to guess? Who's good to guess?
Detached.
You going with detached? It
Yep.
is not detached. Instead, it
No.
is
Loading human.
2019's Eden Tomorrow.
Ooh.
Ooh, PlayStation DualShock 4 only.
Dang,
PSVR required.
that's a tough one.
Story-driven sci-fi action adventure, fantastic journey through an unknown world in virtual reality, taking the player on an odyssey full of suspense and mystery. It is a terrible game, in my opinion.
Definitely a terrible game.
And I remember some people, I think it may have been Polish Paul, who was
It was like
raving
one
about
person,
it.
which was like Polish Paul.
I don't know. Ask Ryan what he thought about it. I bet Ryan fucking loved it. I bet he's a fucking
Ryan,
box quote.
is the VR grid still here?
Yeah, he's here. He's hiding somewhere, man, because he knew we were coming back to him eventually. But guys, yeah, don't play
VR
Eden
great take
tomorrow.
of this?
It's even if it was on sale, it's so many issues, man. So many
So
issues.
sad. They spent like millions of dollars on that game.
It looked really good. I mean, like I didn't like the art style, but it technically looked like a very good game.
Oh,
Um,
we were so excited about it.
yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
were super excited. It looked like a sci-fi adventure, like so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was terrible.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. Um, Gabriel Double for the License to Meow Gamecast says Eden tomorrow, and thanks Dave for my free coffee. I don't know. I don't know what happened with that, but congratulations, and I'm sorry at the same time, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you to everybody who helps the channel run, but most importantly, of course, my friend over here, AJ, who joins me every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here, 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you also to Jay Meow because he's the guy that gets this thing up on podcast services of your choice, even ones that you've never heard of. I promise you. So thank you for doing that. Also, Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who religiously gets me the timestamps for this show every single night, just like within hours after the show airs. Thank you for doing that. Of course, all of our moderators who work tirelessly to keep the conversation civil over here and on Discord. Make sure you join us on Discord. And that's kind of it, guys. Thank you so much for everyone who participated in the chat tonight. Thank you to everybody who helped AJ in 20 questions. Thank you to everybody who donated, keeping the lights on over here. And of course, people at patreon.com/without parole games helping me out, keeping the channel running. And of course, all of you sat back, watched the show, didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there. And we love you just as much. AJ, can I cue the cat?
Cue the cat, Brian, because I want to say see you guys on Hump Day to Jan Kiefer. Thank you so much, man. Pelidos, thank you, man. JT, money. Brax Bros, so surprisingly one not on sale. It never goes on sale.
No.
The Funkadelic Game Cat, later Funky Fresh. Secrets Up says, I liked it, LOL.
There we go. There you go. I could, you know what? I could see
Two
people
people.
liking it too. Like that's the weird thing is that like some people, I could see people liking it. It just wasn't really put together very well.
Qualities, yeah. It's not a good game, but it has some likable things about it.
If like Shadow Legend and Saints and Sinners are VRAF, this is the opposite of whatever that is. They
Right.
take control away from you constantly. It's DualShock only. It's just everything's a pain in the butt.
It's like a walking sim. The Mad Gamer. Okay, then bye. Goodbye to you. Stupid Doggy. Goodbye. Dark Angel 3. Thank you for watching. The Funk Bomb Bro, the Game Cat. Glad you made it as well. Better late than never, my friend. Guys, so fist bump to you. All you are is history. Says sold. Just found his new favorite game. Your Long Shadows is a Game Cat. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Time to play with Game Cat. Says it looks good. It does look good.
It does.
Twitcher, the I Love Swordsman now Game Cat. I love that that's still going. That's nice to see. Zombie 5150, my dude. I looked at so many times you said it was horrible. Yep. Gabriel Double Phone, Lights Me Out, Game Cat. Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Clint Johnson has never heard of it. Not surprising. Dan Kiefer, I remember a lot of people said they remember thinking this was going to be good and wasn't. Flame Hat, the Game Cat, GG, homie. Paper Wings, the Game Cat, thanks so much. Great job on the guesses, guys. You did a really good job. That was a tough one.
It certainly would have helped if other people in the chat had heard of this game. They could have helped you more. Yeah, I think that was a I'm sorry, that was a Nick Mueller, the Game Cat. That was one of his suggestions. Thank you so much for that. Now you can blame Nick.
Good one, Nick. That was a good one. No, if it was Jay Mao, it would have been like, what's one of those? What's like that trippy astronaut looking thing that sucks? I don't know. It would have been something terrible.
Trippy astronaut thing that sucks. Oh, like Unearthing Mars?
No, that's a good one though.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember.
All right. Cool. All right, AJ. I guess I'll see you Wednesday. Can't wait to get some humping on with you. Nick says, suck it, AJ. Good night, you guys. We love you.